Hi. Have you ever thought that maybe your life is an illusion? Maybe everything that you see out there doesn't actually exist, and everything that you are observing is actually only being manifested because you are observing it. Well, science says that that is true. And for so long we have thought that this reality is objective, that it exists independent on us being there or not. But research and studies have already been done to prove that this is simply not true. Reality might not actually exist when you're not there. The tree in the forest that fell, that no one heard, might not have actually fallen. Let me explain with this article, and at the end of the video, remember to check the description out, where I'll leave the link to the article if you want to read it yourself. According to the rules of quantum mechanics, the boundary between the world out there and our own subjective consciousness are blurred. When physicists look at atoms or particles of light, what they see depends on how they set up their experiment. And to test this, physicists at the Australian National University recently conducted what is known as the John Wheeler's delayed choice thought experiment. The experiment involves moving objects that is given the choice to act like a particle or a wave. Wheeler's experiment then asks, at which point does the object decide? Common sense says that the object is either a wave or a particle, independent on how we measure it. But the quantum mechanics predicts that whether you observe wave-like behaviors or particle behaviors depends only on how it is actually measured at the end of its journey. It proves that measurement is everything. At the quantum level, reality does not exist if you are not looking at it, said Professor Andrew Truscott. Professor Truscott's team first trapped a collection of helium atoms in a suspended state and then ejected them until there was only a single atom left. The single atom was then dropped through a pair of laser beams, which formed a grating pattern that acted as a crossroads in the same way a solid grating would scatter light. A second light grating to recombine the paths was randomly added, which led to the constructive or deconstructive interference as the atom traveled through both paths. When the second light grating was not added, no interference was seen as the atom chose only one path. However, the random number determining whether the grating was added was only generated after the atom had passed through the crossroads. If you choose to believe that the atom really did take a particular path or paths, then you have to accept that a future measurement is affecting the atom's past, said Truscott. The atoms did not travel from A to B. It was only when they were measured at the end of the journey that their wave-like or particle-like behavior was brought into existence. What this study tells us is that reality may not be exactly what we think it is. We think that our toothbrush, our car, exist outside of our field of vision. That your car in your garage or driveway is there right now. But this study is saying that it may not be. It may not actually be there right now. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That just means it's bits of information ready to be observed. It's like a video game. In a video game, many of you might not know this, is that what's behind you does not actually exist. It gets rendered in as your field of vision moves. And this is what it seems like reality is to us now. That our field of vision, our observing, our observation of life is actually manifesting what we see around us. And what's behind us, not being observed, is just information of bits and ones and zeros. 10 years ago, this may have sounded insane. Of course something's behind me. If I back up enough, I'm going to hit the wall and I'm going to hurt my head. Which is true. You will back up enough and hit your head. But the thing is, the thing that you're actually hitting, the wall, might not actually visually be there until you turn around. You're just hitting energy. The information of bits and ones and zeros. that our eyes translate for us when we physically see something. And the act of observation doesn't necessarily mean your eyes. We are translating the earth with our hearing, with our touch, with our smell. Those are all acts of observing. And so when you back into the wall without seeing it, you are actually observing with your sensations or your feelings. So our life may actually be somewhat of an illusion. Comment down below what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.